Welcome to Cinema Bites. Your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The movie begins. In the middle of the sea, a ship uses a crane to retrieve a 500-year-old Iron Maiden. While Discord watches, her men proceed to open it and find Quinn, who has survived all these years because she's immortal. Meanwhile, in Croatia, a team of immortal mercenaries is on a mission to stop an arms dealer. Andy lost her immortality 6 months ago, but she still works with her eternal friends. The group watches the dealer's house and waits for an opening. When a guard approaches a tree to pee, Andy and former CIA James surround him and knock him out. Nikki and Joe sneak around the garden and start fighting 2 more guards. When the enemy takes out a knife, Joe ends up losing his thumb, so he retaliates by stabbing the guy. Then he puts his thumb back on his hand, and it reattaches when the wound heals. Afterward, the couple opens fire in the air and steals 2 cars to make the guards in the house come after them. The men get on their bikes and chase them, leaving the door free for Andy and James to go inside. More guards appear and open fire, so the duo rushes to hide. Andy finds a sword on the wall and steals it to fight the men, slashing them all down in just a few seconds. Then she goes outside and re-enters the next room through a different door to surprise more guards from behind, also quickly killing them. On the river, former Marine Neil appears on a boat and opens fire to kill the men at the back of the house. The boat crashes on the stairs, and Neil has to jump out to keep moving on foot, always with open fire to kill the men that keep coming after her. She climbs the wall to reach the balcony, and when a bullet hits her neck, the wound quickly closes thanks to her power. Inside, Andy and James are also fighting as enemies won't stop coming. They use a variety of shots, slashes, and punches to bring them down. At that moment, Niall jumps over the balcony and grabs a flag to swing her body across the walls, bursting through a window to join her friends and kill the last guard. On the road around the mountain, the chase also continues. The guards open fire, so Joe and Nikki respond the same way, killing a few men in the process. When their cars align, Nikki starts crawling through the window to join Joe. An enemy car runs into him and breaks his leg, but the impact sends it off the road and it crashes. Once Nikki's leg heals, he kicks off the incoming bikes before finally getting in the car. They start making their way back, only for a new enemy vehicle to appear out of nowhere. They crash into each other, and the heroes fall into the sea, so now they have to swim to the shore. Back in the house, the trio goes upstairs and keeps killing guards until they find the arms dealer. With just a few shots, they make him fall over the balcony to his death. Before leaving, Niall steals a spear from the guy's collection. In the evening, James gets a call from a friend in the CIA who informs him they didn't kill the actual arms leader, just one of the pawns. James has sent a security camera picture showing that the real target is Discord, whom Niall recognizes from her dreams. She's seen her in a library killing a man before stealing some of his books. The next day in Paris, Booker has been drinking a lot since Andy kicked him out of the team for betraying them. When he comes back to his apartment, he notices the door is open and immediately takes out his gun. Quinn is waiting for him and immediately kidnaps him with the help of a henchman. Booker is taken to a beach house where Quinn explains that it was easy to find him because he's been a careless drunk. She keeps asking about Andy and Booker swears he doesn't know where she is. Quinn is angry because she had thought Andy had been trapped like her, but she's actually been free enjoying her life instead of searching for her. Meanwhile, the group splits to take a break. In France, Joe tells Nikki he needs some time alone, and Nikki pretends he's fine with that, but he can tell Joe is lying. He makes Niall come with him to follow him, and they corner him downtown, where they discover that Joe has been delivering groceries to Booker to help him. Nikki and Joe get in an argument over Booker's betrayal, but they're interrupted by Niall, who checked Booker's apartment. She didn't find him, but she did discover blood on the walls and floor. In Korea, Andy and James visit Troyes, another immortal who back in the day refused to join the team. Andy guesses that he's the guy in Niall's dream and wants to discuss it, so he takes them to his underground library, where he keeps the history of all the immortals. Some books are missing, confirming Niall's dream as a real vision. Twa explains he was robbed by Discord, the first of the immortals. Discord and Twa used to be friends, and they even watched how Andy and Quinn were captured 500 years ago by religious nuts. No matter how much Twa begged to help them, Discord refused and walked away. Twa managed to save Andy, but it was too late for Quinn because she was already thrown into the ocean. While lying low, Discord spent her time accumulating wealth and power to protect herself from humanity's cruelty, which explains her deals with arms dealers. Twa doesn't know why she's come back now, but she's stolen the books containing the history of the team. Andy confesses she's lost her immortality and is worried that Discord may know. A few hours later, they return to their safe house, where Twa meets the rest of the team. After they exchange information, Joe receives a call from Booker, who asks for a meeting. Nikki and Joe pick him up and bring him to the house, where nobody is happy to see him. Booker tells Andy that Quinn is out and gives her a letter from her. The message asks Andy to meet Quinn at their old special place, and Andy rushes to her car to leave. Niall follows her and convinces her to bring her as backup. In the house, Booker tries to be friendly, but Nikki points out they can't be sure he hasn't betrayed them again. During the trip, Andy remembers the day she lost Quinn. The place had been burning down and she was so furious that she tried to kill a random man. Only the memory of her beloved stopped her. They stop at a gas station bathroom and Andy admits she's afraid that Quinn won't like what she's become. Niall worries because she's never seen Andy nervous or scared before. The next day in Italy, Andy meets Quinn while Niall watches from afar. Andy apologizes for failing her and explains she did search for Quinn, but the ocean is too vast and deep. When Andy asks her to join the team, Quinn refuses because she doesn't want to fight for humanity after what they did to her. Realizing that Andy won't leave her friends for her, Quinn walks away and Andy follows her, while telling Niall to stay back. At that moment, Niall sees Discord leaving a building. Andy tries to stop Quinn, who defends herself and starts a fight in an alley, even though Andy says she doesn't want to fight her. Both women are amazing fighters and make good use of their surroundings as support. They exchange blows for a while until Niall interrupts them to announce that Discord is behind them. Discord just smiles at them and walks away, so Niall follows her. Quinn mentions Niall's name and Andy realizes she was rescued by Discord, meaning they're working together. They start fighting again and Quinn rips off Andy's necklace, which is a gift she gave her back in the day. When Quinn starts running, Annie goes after her, but she loses her in the city crowd. Meanwhile, Niall enters a church to find Discord, who says she was there when they crucified Jesus. Discord insults Andy and the team for helping humanity after all they did to their kind. She also says that she and Niall are connected, which she proves by their matching birthmarks on their arms. According to Discord, Neil will be the last immortal, but she leaves without saying more. Afterward, the team returns to the safe house and discusses what happened, but they don't know how to proceed. Andy thinks about the day Quinn gave her the necklace and grieves in private. Twa asks Booker if Niall ever hurt Andy, and Booker explains that when they met they fought and Niall stabbed Andy. Following an old legend, Twa concludes that Niall has the power to take away immortality, and Discord may want to use her to get rid of all of them. He also explains that once wounded by Niall, an immortal has the option to pass on their immortality to someone else before they lose it. In the morning, Booker tells Andy he should go, but Andy allows him to stay because of the emergency situation. He also admits he'd love to have an expiration date to give his life meaning. At an airport, Discord continues to manipulate Quinn to get revenge on Andy's team. Quinn says she wants revenge on humanity too, which Discord agrees with. Later, a truck appears outside a nuclear facility in Indonesia. The guards immediately open fire, but the truck keeps going and crashes into the gate, causing a small explosion. The men think the driver is dead, but it happens to be Quinn, who soon recovers. She grabs a guy hostage to keep the guards distracted, and Discord's henchmen shoot them all down from behind. Then the group crashes more vehicles into the main building, making employees panic. More guards are shot down by the henchmen, while Quinn makes her way into the inner rooms. Back to Booker, he sees Neil training outside and asks for a spar. Twa notices their skills are very similar and asks to join them too. A fight begins among the three of them, which proves they all have amazing combat skills even when going against multiple enemies. Eventually, Neil ends up cutting Booker's arm and she apologizes, but nobody thinks it's a big deal. In private, Booker shows Twa that his wound isn't healing, so the theory is right and he isn't immortal anymore. Booker asks Twa to keep the secret from Andy. Afterward, James calls for a meeting because he's received security footage from the nuclear plant. Quinn's team has taken control of the building and installed a bomb in the nuclear core. They all can guess this is a trap, but they have no choice but to go anyway, since a nuclear explosion would be much worse. In private, Joe admits to Nikki that he's scared, so they comfort each other knowing that their love won't ever stop being eternal. In a few hours, the team arrives at the nuclear plant on their bikes. James stays outside and uses a scan of the building to guide the others through their earpieces. As the group searches the plant, they find small bombs installed all over the place. Eventually, they're surrounded by the henchmen, and since they're near the explosives, nobody wants to use bullets. A hand-to-hand battle begins using all sorts of martial arts, knives, swords, and even axes. The goons aren't good fighters, but they move swiftly enough to make the team split. As some henchmen are thrown off the catwalks, a surprise shot causes a small explosion that severely damages Nikki and causes him to fall too, but he recovers quickly. Twa, Nikki, and Joe find a door and decide to keep moving. There's another small explosion waiting for them in the corridor, but it only slows them down for a second. They make it to the control room and are surrounded by more of Discord's men, so the combat continues with more kills and violence. They beat up the enemies quickly, only for the doors to close behind them to trap them. Suddenly, liquid nitrogen starts filling the room, and it immediately freezes the 3 men. More men come by to carry the bodies away in bags. In the core room, 2 guys surround Andy and bring her down by tasing her. So Niall tries to reach her by making a dangerous jump. However, the pipe she is holding onto breaks, and she falls as debris lands on top of her. A furious Andy quickly overpowers the henchman who captured her, but when she looks down, she can't see Niall. Outside, James sees some men nearby and comes out with his gun. He opens fire, but there are too many of them and they capture him pretty fast. Andy is getting worried because nobody answers her calls. A few men catch her by surprise and hold her down on the floor, but at that moment, Booker knocks them out with his axe. Suddenly, another small explosion happens at the door and blocks their way, so the duo has to take an alternate path. While Andy realizes that Discord is controlling the doors and breaks the security cameras, Booker notices her wounds are healing and informs her that he's given her his immortality. In the next corridor, they bring down more goons and Andy gets a wound on her arm. She sees it heal and finally believes Booker's story. More men are coming after them. Thus, Booker runs through the door and lets it close behind him so Andy can continue the mission while he keeps the enemy distracted. A desperate Andy tries to open the door in different ways to no avail. Booker is shot many times, but he keeps fighting until the end, killing all the men before he finally falls dead too. Meanwhile, Niall crawls out from the debris and makes her way to the core, where she finds Quinn. She tries to tell her that Discord is manipulating her, but Quinn just attacks her. The women manage to exchange a fair amount of blows before Niall finally slashes Quinn's stomach, taking her immortality. While Quinn stares in shock at her open wound, Discord appears behind Niall and stabs her with a sword to bring her down. Then her men take away her body too. Now that the rest of the team is defeated, the door opens and Andy continues the search. Eventually, she finds the main bomb, and Quinn sitting next to it with a trigger. They exchange a few words about the philosophy they used to share when they were young and who they really are now, which convinces Quinn not to detonate the bomb. After noticing that Quinn isn't healing, Andy hears a weird noise and runs outside. It turns out Discord is taking all the bodies away in 2 helicopters. Andy runs to make a big jump and breaks the helicopter's window with the axe to hang on. The chopper flies in circles to try to shake her off, but Andy keeps climbing until she reaches the pilots. In the struggle, the helicopter's rotor blades keep hitting the wall. Unfortunately, a pilot has a gun and shoots until Andy falls back on the facility. Since it takes her a few minutes to heal, one of the helicopters gets to escape. The other flies back so Discord can gesture at Andy, asking her to join her. Andy jumps again, but instead of staying in the chopper, she pushes Discord and they fall on the ground. Discord tells the helicopter to stay back and proceeds to fight Andy. Both women are very skillful with swords and keep landing several blows on each other. It isn't until they're locked in a hold that Andy notices Discord's wounds aren't healing. It turns out she's lost her immortality, and her plan has always been to capture the team so she can make Neil pass their immortality to her. The women keep fighting, and this time Discord overpowers Andy, stabbing her right through her torso to make her collapse. While Discord leaves in the helicopter, Andy swears she'll rescue her friends. Sometime later, Andy searches Twa's library, but she finds nothing useful. She also nurses Quinn back to health, and they seem to forgive each other. They suit up and agree to work together to defeat Discord. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.